Hello everybody, this is Tomás and Matteis for Video. We're here with Tony from Atomos. Now let me tell you a little bit about Atomos. You guys stepped into the video industry about 6 years ago, is that right?
6 years, yep.
Right. And you came in to address a very important problem, which was the following. We as videographers jump into the opportunity of shooting video with DSLRs because DSLRs were giving us that cinematic look that we weren't getting with DV cam cameras and etc. But DSLRs, even though they were ready with the sensor and with the amount of information that they were able to collect for our videos, they weren't ready on the storage side. The storage capabilities and how they were handling that footage, it wasn't quite there in those tiny little cameras that were originally made for photography. So you guys said, we got this, we got the right solution, here's the tool. Tell us a little bit about how that initial spark started.
Yeah, sure. Well, exactly what you said. We love DSLRs, we love the sensors inside the DSLRs, but we thought what they were doing inside the camera, it's not cutting it for professionals, right?
It's just not enough.
Edit guys were like up in arms, like, what are you doing? It's all about distribution for the camera. It's about maximizing the amount you can store on tiny little memory cards that are not going to damage their sensor. So that's why when the DSLR revolution came about, people would have external recorders, external monitors so that they could get their shot right. And then what the guys at Atomos, the founders of Atomos 6 years ago did was merge those things together into a single touchscreen. So we took a great quality monitor, ProRes recording onto affordable media, and we merged it all into one device. And that's been the journey thus far.
That's excellent. We've been talking to a lot of brands here at IBC, and we see that a common denominator on the tools that really work for videographers is the tools that are combining different things that we need, that we use, into one single element. So like if I can put something in this part of my workflow that I can actually do different things, that just saves us so much time. It's just one device, one battery, one workflow. So that's really something interesting about Atomos, is that you guys are not only giving us the right display on set of what we're seeing in an amazing way with the really high quality displays, but you're also allowing us to record our media into that system, into that tool in ways that we could not do in our cameras.
It's true. Exactly.
All right, so tell us a little bit more what you guys have in for us this year in IBC.
Okay, well if you've been walking around the show, you know it's all about HDR. So we really see that it's 4K 60 HDR. That's where it's really standing at the moment, and we've got the perfect product for it. We've brought in the Inferno, the Shogun Inferno. It's going to be shipping at the end of this month, and what that does is takes that rec, play, monitor, edit system that we combine and applies it to a 4K 60 HDR workflow. So at a starting point, it's the world's best monitor, bar none. There's no other monitor that does 1500 nit brightness. No other monitor does 10-bit processing.
And for our audience who doesn't know what this nit level means, we're talking about when you're looking at your screen, how bright it is, which means where can you actually look in the screen. Doing this on your screen where you're trying to figure out the right exposure, the right colors, is not really what you want to do. You want a screen that, even though if you're in broad sunlight, you can really see what the image is going to look like on the actual the final display. So this is what this technology and this feature and this specific really high spec is giving us.
Yeah, we use the brightness in two ways. Like you said, when you're outside, you don't want the sun competing with the brightness of your screen. Get that washed out, you can't see what you're doing. So now we're able to give you hood-free outdoor daylight monitoring. But what we also do is use that brightness range to be able to show HDR imagery for the first time. So traditional LCD monitors have got about 6 to 7 stops of dynamic range, doubling of brightness for each stop. The sensors, but even on your DSLR, they're 10 plus stops. So it's like all of the information is locked in the signal, but you can't see what's going on at the camera.
Right. If you're trying to set up your exposure, and the difference between the darkest part of the area and the stop that is the brighter, your highlights is only 6 stops, but the camera is actually recording 10. Well, if I don't see those 10, how do I know that I get the right exposure?
That's right.
I just have to trust, I guess. So yes, I'm sure I will have detail in my highlights. I will have detail in my shadows. Well, now I can actually see it.
You can see it now, that's right. So what we've done is, because we've got total control over the monitor, the driving system, the HDMI inputs, the touchscreen overlay, we do it all. No Lego engineering. We're able to remap every single log curve so that it reproduces perfectly what you're going to see in post-production at the camera, and what that does for you is allow you to make an accurate exposure decision. You're not having to use calibration cards rules of thumb, go to this for this log curve and take it back 2 stops. None of that. You just shoot what you see, because what's in front of you is what's on the monitor, and everyone gets to be part of that creative decision.
So we were talking earlier when we were preparing for this interview. You were telling me about how such a pain it is, and I see it. For videographers, we see our flat screens and we're like, okay, this is going to be good in post. I think I have what I need because I've been doing this for long. But we have a client, we have a producer. Look at the screen, it's like, why does it look so flat? Why there's no contrast to the thing? How do you guys fix this problem?
That's right. Well, it's that HDR engine, exactly what you said. You're shooting and you're happy as a shooter. The director's saying, this guy's a chump. Look what we got here. This looks rubbish. Yeah, so now everyone can see what the final, and it's really simple. It's non-destructive as well. We still record the log signal, so your editing guy's not going to be unhappy that you've made some wrong decision there. Still recording log in there. It's just a way to make sure you get your exposure right. And it's still a 7-inch 1920 by 1200 screen, so you've got heaps of focus peaking tools to make sure your focus is right, exposure is right, framing is right. Hit record, and you're going straight to ProRes 422 10-bit. In the case of the Flame series, we do 4K up to 30 frames per second. We do HD up to 120. The Inferno coming out later this month will be 4K 60 frames or HD 240. And as we were saying before as well, we're doing what we originally did with media costs. So now on the higher end Inferno, we're going to be recording ARRI RAW, Panasonic RAW, Sony RAW, Canon RAW. And the beauty of that, these amazing machines already record RAW internally, but they do it to really expensive media. An S/S card from ARRI would be $1,700. You're now able to record the ARI file, the ARRI file in RAW for a $100 SSD on the machine itself.
That is awesome, because what is the good of a camera that can record high-end 4K if I can't really afford the media that I need, the storage that I need in my workflow to actually be able to record in those high qualities. I'm seeing a theme here. You guys are talking about Inferno, you talk about Ninja, Samurai. Where are these names coming from? Where's the story behind this?
Well, it's a little bit, just like I said about the ARRI media costs, that was the original concept. We've come full circle. We did it originally, the original Ninja was all about slashing media costs, annihilating workflow issues. And that's what we're doing all over again with the high-end cinema cameras now, which is, it's really exciting. It's had a great feedback at IBC, so we think the Inferno is going to do really well.
Tony, thank you very much. We're very excited about your tools. We're very happy that you guys are bringing all this HDR workflow into our sets. We know we can have it in post, but now we have it in set, and that's really, really interesting for videographers.